Let's go Broncos! Something is happening right now within the Denver Broncos organization that could quietly become one of the most important turning points for the team next season, and almost no one is talking about it as they should. We're not talking hype. We're not talking rumors. This is a real opportunity forming right before the Broncos, the kind of moment that separates mediocre teams from title contenders. And if Denver plays it right, it could come away with a game-changing piece that instantly elevates the offense to another level. But here's the craziest part. This opportunity shouldn't even exist. Talent that should have already been drafted is available. Positions that should have been filled early on are opening up. And the Broncos are in the perfect position to take advantage of all of this. So, before we go any further, I need you to do something right now. Click the like button if you truly believe the Denver Broncos are building something special again. And I want to see genuine optimism in the comments. Right, go Broncos! The future is ours, because this team is closer than people imagine. Now get ready, because what I'm about to explain might completely change your perspective on this upcoming change. There's a growing consensus among highly respected draft analysts, the kind who have a strong track record and real connections across the league, that this tight end class is not only deep, but dangerously undervalued beyond the first round. While one name is expected to go early, what follows is a wave of NFL-ready talent that could fall directly into Denver's lap. And the Broncos, unlike many teams ahead of them, actually need this position more than most. That's where things get interesting. Sean Payton and the front office are doing extensive due diligence at tight end, more than at any other position right now. That alone tells you everything about their intentions. They are not just browsing, they are preparing to strike. And one name that continues to gain traction internally is Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt, a player who, according to multiple projections, could realistically be available somewhere between picks 40 and 60. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a prospect described as one of the most versatile weapons in the entire class. A former quarterback who understands the game at a completely different level. A player with elite athletic traits, including a jaw-dropping vertical jump, combined with an incredibly reliable set of hands, barely any drops throughout his college career. This is not just a tight end. This is a hybrid weapon. And if you know anything about Sean Payton, you know exactly why that matters. He has a long history of turning tight ends into stars. From past systems to current schemes, he values players who can line up everywhere, slot, backfield, inline, and create mismatches. Stowers fits that mold perfectly. The only real question mark is his blocking. But here's the thing. Does Payton even see that as a limitation, or does he see the opportunity to mold another elite receiving threat? Because if it's the latter, this could be a home run. And it doesn't stop there. The Broncos are also closely evaluating other tight ends like Max Clare, another versatile player with experience across multiple alignments, including slot and wing positions. Despite not putting up massive numbers at Ohio State due to limited opportunities, his skill set is undeniable, especially his ability to adjust routes and create separation, something Payton values highly. Then there's another prospect, a tough, high-motor player with strong blocking ability and a proven work ethic, someone who played alongside elite talent in college and still managed to stand out. A player who battled through injuries, showing resilience and commitment, traits this coaching staff absolutely prioritizes. So now, take a step back and look at the full picture. You have a deep tight end class. You have multiple prospects falling into the second and even third rounds. You have a team with a clear positional need. And most importantly, you have a head coach who knows exactly how to maximize this type of talent. This is not luck. This is opportunity meeting preparation. And if things fall the way they are currently trending, the Denver Broncos could walk away from this draft with a day one starter at tight end at pick 62. That's the kind of move that doesn't just fill a gap. It elevates an entire offense. And this is where things could take a dramatic turn depending on how aggressive this front office wants to be. Because if Sean Payton truly believes that one of these tight ends, especially a guy like Eli Stowers, is a perfect fit for his system, then staying patient at pick 62 might actually be the biggest risk of all. We've already seen the pattern. Payton values experience, leadership, and football IQ at an elite level. That's why players with quarterback backgrounds, team captain history, and positional versatility immediately jump to the top of his board. And when you look at Stowers, or even the other names being evaluated, you're not just talking about athletic upside, you're talking about players who understand spacing, timing, and how to exploit defensive weaknesses in real time. That's exactly what this offense needs right now. Because let's be real for a second, the Broncos are building something very specific. This is not a random rebuild. This is a calculated effort to surround the offense with intelligent, adaptable weapons that can grow alongside the system. And adding a tight end who can function as a safety valve, a red zone threat, and even a mismatch creator on early downs could completely change how defenses approach this team. Now imagine this scenario. You line up a tight end who can motion into the slot. You disguise formations pre-snap. You create confusion for linebackers and safeties. And suddenly, the entire field opens up. That's the kind of chess match Sean Payton thrives in. And it's also why the reports about how much attention Denver is giving to this position should not be taken lightly. This is not smoke. This is strategy. When you see them bringing in prospects for top visits, studying multiple options, and tracking how the board might fall, that's a team preparing for multiple draft scenarios at once. And here's another layer to all of this that fans cannot ignore. Because this tight end class is so deep, there's a real chance that teams ahead of Denver will prioritize other positions, quarterback, offensive line, defense, and let these playmakers slip. That's exactly how value is created in the draft. And if the Broncos read this correctly, they could capitalize in a way that feels almost unfair. But there's still a decision to make. Do you trust that the board will fall your way? Or do you take control? Because if there's one thing we know about elite organizations, it's this: they don't sit back when they identify their guy. They go and get him. And considering how Payton has historically elevated tight ends into elite offensive weapons, passing on someone he truly believes in could be something this team regrets for years. At the same time, staying disciplined and letting the draft come to you could allow Denver to not only land a top-tier tight end but also preserve valuable assets for later rounds, especially in a class where depth is clearly working in their favor. That's the balancing act, and it's happening right now behind closed doors. So as we get closer to draft night, keep your eyes on this position more than any other. Because whether it's Eli Stowers, Max Clare, or another rising name, the Broncos are locked in. They've done the homework, they understand the value, and they are in position to make a move that could define this offense moving forward. And the more you connect all the dots, the more this starts to feel less like a possibility, and more like something that's quietly becoming inevitable. Because think about everything we've laid out so far. You have a draft class loaded with tight end talent. You have multiple prospects with starting level ability slipping into the exact range where Denver is picking. You have a coaching staff that has historically maximized this exact position better than almost anyone in football. And you have a roster that is clearly missing that final piece, that reliable, versatile weapon in the middle of the field. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. And inside the building, this is exactly how they're viewing it. There's a strong belief that whoever they bring in at tight end won't just be a contributor, but someone who can immediately step into a meaningful role. A player who can help dictate matchups, extend drives, and become a trusted option in critical moments. And when you look at the profiles of the players they're evaluating, high effort, high IQ, position-flexible athletes, it's clear they are targeting guys who can handle that responsibility right away. Now here's where it gets even more exciting. Because if this move hits, if they land the right guy, it doesn't just improve one position group. It creates a ripple effect across the entire offense. Suddenly, defenses can't key in the same way. Linebackers are forced into coverage situations they don't want. Safeties have to make quicker decisions, and that opens up opportunities everywhere else on the field. That's how offenses take the next step, not just with star power, but with smart, strategic additions that unlock everything else. And let's not overlook one final detail that keeps showing up over and over again in these evaluations: toughness and mentality. The players Denver is looking at are not just athletes. They're grinders, leaders, guys who have played through injuries, adapted to new roles, and continue to produce. That matters more than ever when you're trying to build a consistent, winning culture, because talent gets you noticed, but mentality keeps you on the field. So as draft night approaches, don't be surprised if you see Denver either sit confidently at 62 and capitalize on the board, or make a calculated